when I first got in the locker room, going from like the low A locker room to the triple A locker room, and you just walk in, you're like, okay, this is a little different, and you're getting good food and just the cage is right next to the locker room, and just the preparation and the guys there, like you can tell, like this is a step down from the big leagues. So,
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of To the Show We Go Baseball podcast. Today's episode, we're dipping into the athletic system today. We have Josh Kuroda-Grauer on this episode. And if you don't know Josh, he was a draft pick this past year by the Athletics. He ended up in the third round out of Rutgers University, out of the Big Ten there. So, Josh, I always like to start these off on a little lighter note, maybe just trying to get in a little bit to the episode. But you're back home right now in the off season. How has your off season been treating you so far?
it's been good. Getting a little bit colder now. After being out in California and Arizona, it was real hot, up in the hundreds, even in like July and August. So back in the weather I'm used to, but all season's going well.
How uh how long did it take you to adjust to the heat down there after leaving New Jersey?
So that was going out to Arizona. That was my first time in Arizona. I don't think I ever adjusted to it. I think you just kind of like know when you walk out the door, it's like an oven. When you open an oven and that hot air just hits you in the face. So I kind of just accepted it. I don't think I'll ever get used to that.
Is it? I always hear people telling me it's a dry heat. They're like, no, 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 no. It's not that hot. It's a dry heat. No, it's still 100 degrees and you're sweating outside. Would you say the dry heat is still pretty hot?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see why they say it's dry heat, but it's like I don't care if it's 115 or 100. It's really hot. So I don't really feel the difference.
I'm with you, man. It's something. It's just something that I'll never really get used to. Dry heat, humid heat. I don't care. Florida, Arizona, Texas, California, whatever. Hot to me. So all right, you just got through. You're probably the most. Just so much going on in 2024. You get drafted, you finish up your college career, you start your professional ball journey. Looking back at 2024, what kind of takeaways did you have from this year? Like now that you're pretty much done with it.
I think looking about my year in total, I think like if I really put my mind to something and like I dedicate like the work to it, like good things are bound to happen. I think from my freshman year to my sophomore year to my junior year in college, I think I grew a lot physically, but then like as well with the mental side of baseball. Like I watched more film on pitches than I ever had this past year. And then I credit to the good season I had. And then you get into pro ball and you just keep those same things and just try to keep the game simple because you're facing all these good guys with velo and everything. Just try to have fun with it.
So that actually kind of leads me into kind of our first little segment here. But I like to show love to where guys are from, and you're New Jersey guy, and you go to the local college there. So what made you choose Rutgers?
Yeah, for me, a lot of a lot of Jersey guys, athletes in general, whatever sport they play, there's like a common notion that like everyone from Jersey leaves Jersey. They go down south, they go out to Cali, and they go to these big schools, whatever. So for me, when I got the opportunity to play for my home state school, I jumped at the opportunity because I love where I'm from. I love Jersey, and to be able to represent that was it was really a really cool experience for me.
And what I've noticed a lot lately, and I've actually had this discussion on this podcast several times over the last year or so. But New Jersey is a little slept on in terms of baseball production that comes out of there. Everybody's always talking about the California boys, the Georgia boys, the Texas boys. But New Jersey is sneakily up there, in my opinion. And I know there's been a lot of guys that have been passing through the professional ball even lately. I've noticed a lot of pitchers from Jersey lately. So can you just take us through a little bit of playing high school ball in Jersey and what the level of competition was like?
Yeah, I mean, the level of competition, it was pretty good, and I think everyone can agree when they say Jersey's gritty. You're playing, you don't get to go down south and play in the nice weather or whatever. We're playing in early March, early April, and it's freezing, snows falling from the skies, things like that. So I think a lot of guys take pride in that, and that's why I think the Jersey grit saying comes about.
Who are a couple guys that are in professional ball now that you got to play against or got to know pretty well over the years?
Um, let's see. So when I just came in this year, Rodney Green, an outfielder from California, me and him were roommates when we went to low A. So getting with him, and like he's a guy that like I've seen on Instagram and things like that. I've seen his highlights before, and then it's really cool to see that and then be able to go practice with a guy like that and see like the attention to detail that you don't really get to see when you're just seeing the highlights of the home runs and everything. So the behind the scenes aspect of it was pretty cool to me.
Yeah, no, it definitely. I had some another guy on here kind of say like you never know where baseball is going to take you, and it's like you see these guys on Instagram of you see this guy that's same age as you hitting these like nukes, but he lives like states away, and then you're just a teammate of his now or whatever it is, and he's just like would have never thought I'd lead us here.
Right.
But all right, so you get drafted this year, and you finish up your college career. Take me through a little bit of the draft. Like what was it like for you? Where were you at? Like were you with family? I guess how did your draft day go?
Yeah, so I kept it really kind of low key and just chill in house with my family. And before we were on day one of the draft, we were just watching a bunch of baseball movies. And it's funny because the last movie we watched was Moneyball, and I had no idea I was going to get drafted by the A's the next day. So kind of coincidental, but just real low key and just enjoying it with the family and my parents who've been there every step of the way for me.
Would uh would you say Moneyball's up there on your favorite baseball movie list?
Definitely, I think for me that's top three. And I just recently watched it for the first time ever, probably about 2 to 3 years ago. It's always been one of those movies that you see and you hear about, but I never like gave it a chance. And finally, I sat down and I was like, "Wow, that's a really good movie."
Yeah,
So whenever
anytime that it's on, it's one of those that I will stop, no matter what what part of the movie it's in, and I'll watch it. Um, just curious though, what are the other two? You said that's in your top three. What are the other two?
So my favorite baseball movie of all time is Little Big League, and
Okay.
my second one is Angels in the Outfield.
Ooh, okay.
I think Little Big League is the top for me because my favorite player of all time is Ken Griffey Jr. and getting to see the cameo with him and
Yeah.
Randy Johnson and Lou Piniella, I think that was pretty cool as a kid to watch.
First thing that came to mind when you said Angels in the Outfield, I wanted to start to do this. There was
Dude,
like a
that
great
stand
action
up.
to do that.
So that actually that's interesting to me that obviously a lot of people's favorite player was Ken Griffey Jr. Just the way he swung a bat and even played a good outfield as well. But who did you in Jersey? Who did you kind of grow up rooting for baseball wise and yeah, and like even like player wise, obviously other than Ken Griffey.
So it's gonna sound kind of confusing because I got the Patriots banner behind me, but I grew up a Phillies fan. But the player I watched the most was Derek Jeter, just because being in Jersey, like the Yes Network was always on, and I got to watch him, Cano, A Rod, Teixeira, that infield. I don't know how I didn't gravitate to be a Yankees fan after watching that infield, but Derek Jeter for me, him being the captain in New York, that was my idol growing up.
Is that would you say that Jeter may have influenced you at all in wanting to play shortstop throughout your years?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's the reason I wanted to play shortstop in the first place. Just seeing him go to work every day and just like I said, like be the captain of the whole state of New York. That's the reason I wanted to play short.
Yeah, even the guys in New England, take it from me and Chris, you have to respect the guy for what he did. So it's always a respect thing, I think. Even though you might hate the colors he wore, what the city he played for, always a respect thing.
For sure.
Um, so it's your first year of pro ball. You got a little taste of it this year. What was it like getting started in professional baseball?
Um, it was fun. You know, when you get to an away series on a Monday, and then you realize you have a game Tuesday through Sunday. For me, that's something I never had before. We played 3 game series on the weekend, maybe a midweek on Wednesday, and another 3 game series on the back end. So for me, you get to play every single day, which I love because you have a bad game, you come back the next day and do it all over again. So I think that aspect of just playing every day is something that just like I enjoyed so much, and just being at the field every day, just that being my happy place and everything, it was really good for me.
So I always hear mixed reviews on the scheduling in minor league baseball. Obviously, you are in a positive light, but so you enjoy the 6 game series throughout the week being in one city.
Yeah, I like that. I think, especially in the minor leagues, I think the travel could kind of get hectic if you're doing 3 game series here like they used to, 8 hour bus rides here and there. I think it's honestly better to just be in one place for an entire week and either go to another place or go back to your home city. So I like it that way.
Yeah, I've heard players kind of say both ways, like they agree with you, and then at the other time they're like, "Well, I want to go face other pitchers. I've seen this
For
pitcher too
sure.
many times, or this
For
guy in the
sure.
bullpen I faced like 6 times this month or
Right,
something."
right.
But no, I totally get what you're saying there. And your track in after you got drafted, you ended up playing at 3 different levels in 3 different cities. Can you kind of talk about like how that went about, and I guess like how you took it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was just kind of all unexpected going to Stockton, playing well for a couple weeks, and they're like, "You're going to Lansing, finish out that season." And then I was in Arizona for instruction. They said we're going to send you to AAA for the last week of their season. So kind of just, and I've never really been like a traveling type person, so just getting on a plane like the night of, when one of the coaches tells you you're going somewhere, just to run around, that was a lot for me, but I think I handled it well just because at the end of the day you get to go play baseball in these beautiful stadiums and just be around different guys all the time who love the game just as much as you. So I tried to have as much fun as possible, and I definitely did.
That Vegas stadium, by the way, it's on the bucket list for me. I know they do the AAA championship game out there right now, and I've always wanted to go. How was it playing out there in Vegas?
That was sick. That was First of all, the ball flies there. The
Oh
ball
yeah.
absolutely jumps off your bat. I don't know if it's the elevation or whatever, but the ball flies there. The the jumbotron, the screen was like 2 billboards put together on the highway or something. It was huge, and they packed out the stadium all 6 days, even though it was the last week, like 10,000 fans a night, which was great. That stadium, you definitely got to check it out. That was a sick stadium.
And I know that it was only for a very short period of time when you were with Vegas, but did it ever like come to you that once they told you you were going to AAA that you're just one step below the majors?
Absolutely. I think when I first got in the locker room and going from like the low A locker room to the triple A locker room, and you just walk in, you're like, okay, this is a little different, and you're getting good food, and just the cage is right next to the locker room, and just the preparation and the guys there, like you can tell like this is a step down from the big leagues. So I definitely had that thought, but like at the same time, I tried not to think of it like that, and I'm like, it's just baseball with AAA next to it.
Yeah, I feel like I always me and Chris have spent some time in AAA locker rooms over the last couple of years, and it's always interesting to see the guys come up from AA and that hadn't really been there before, and it's like, oh well, you got a guy over there that's played 6 years in the majors, you got
Right.
this guy over here that's like just pitched for Tampa last year and whatever it is, and it's like such a mix of like you got the young
Mhm.
guys, you got the vets and all that.
Right.
Did you have a chance to kind of talk? I know you were only there a short amount of time, but talk to any of the older guys, maybe guys that had some MLB experience?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys on the Vegas team had already made their debuts, so I was picking everyone's brain. I was asking everyone any question I could think of, and credit to all those guys. They were really receptive. Even me being there for just that one week, they were great and everything. Like Daryl Hernandez, one of the infielders, I was backing up. I had asked him because I didn't know. I was like, "Where'd you start the year? Double A, single A?" He was like, "I started in the show." So I was like, "Oh," I was like, that was my first realization. I was like, "Holy crap, these guys have been up to the show or whatever." So, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I always, it's always fascinating to hear that because, you're a young guy. You just got, it was literally your first half season in pro ball after you get drafted and you were already sharing a locker room with these guys that started the year
right.
in the majors. Have you had a chance yet to kind of, you're home right now, take a deep breath and just kind of be like, okay, I'm a professional baseball player now. What has it meant for you and your family now that you've gotten to this level?
It means everything. Just being that it's been a dream of mine since I was 4 years old to be able to play professional baseball, and I think I'm definitely grateful and never taking that for granted. Just going every day, being fortunate that I get to play baseball for a living. But I think, especially like getting to AAA and just the short stint I had and being around those guys, and like you said, being literally one step away from the show, I think like it kind of changed my mindset to like give me an extra boost of confidence or just motivation. Like you can do this. Like just put the work in, put more work in than you did. Because the ultimate goal is to get to the show.
What did you notice in your short time of playing after you got drafted? What did you notice as maybe a couple of the biggest differences between your time in professional ball and your time in college?
I think professional ball, I think like the radius of players to me was different. Like college ball, you're playing against the best guys in your conference. Professional baseball, you're playing against the best guys in the world, whether it's guys from Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Taiwan, wherever. So that really opened my eyes, and I think professional baseball, it's like everyone's there for a reason. You know, everyone's good 1 through 9, and you're probably never gonna get a break on on the mound. You're not. I'm not gonna face a midweek pitcher from wherever on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. You're getting some good stuff every day. So that's just an adjustment.
All right, I'm keeping you on your toes here. I'm gonna go a little random here, but I had read something earlier that you were a basketball player as well in high
It
school.
was.
How much do you miss basketball?
I definitely miss basketball sometimes. You know, I try not to play pickup anymore just because I'm afraid to get injured. But I still shoot the rock a little bit here and there, and it's like, man, that itch of just playing back in the day. I definitely miss it, especially being in high school with all my friends. So, I definitely miss basketball a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was reading. Every college does a really good job of doing profiles for you guys on the baseball pages, and it said that you had helped lead your team your freshman year to a perfect record and like all this stuff. I was kind of I always like asking this because a lot of guys are two sport athletes that get into
Mhm.
professional baseball, but when did you kind of have to decide like, hey, like this baseball thing is probably going to take me further than this basketball thing, and you kind of had to give it up?
So I played basketball all the way throughout senior year of high school, and I loved it. Like I love being a two-sport athlete, playing all sports. But I think, especially in my last year of high school, like we were playing some of these good schools in Jersey, and you start seeing some of these good players, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go stick with baseball and keep swinging the bat.
Was the competition good in New Jersey? I've never heard like New Jersey for basketball. Really, I will admit that. I obviously baseball players are all over, but how is it for basketball?
I think it's really good. You got a couple really good schools, and like I said, like there's probably hundreds of really good basketball players on like powerhouse high school teams across the country from Jersey. So especially my town of Franklin, like I've known multiple college Division 1 college athletes that like just went to other schools. So I think the competition was pretty good.
Well, I told you I was going to keep you on your toes, and I kind of shoot all over the place here. But I did want to ask as well about winning the Big Ten Player of the Year at Rutgers. What did that mean to you? I guess whenever you did get that award.
That meant a lot to me just because I have a lot of pride in where I'm from, and I have a lot of pride of going to Rutgers and representing my home state. So to be able to get that award, it was great to win it for myself, but I think more so for the university and for the university to be able to say we had the Big Ten Baseball Player of the Year, which I don't think hasn't been done in the Big Ten, and I don't think the hasn't been done in I think Todd Frazier was the last player to win it. I think in like '07. So to be able to be up there with him in the same conversation, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not, for people that aren't too familiar with, Rutgers and I guess like the Big Ten as well, just with baseball and wise, but were there any guys like that made it to the pros from Rutgers that, had come around the program, or, maybe even, talk to you guys? Because I know a lot of schools sometimes will get guys that, from the past. Like, I'm a Mizzou guy, and I know Ian Kinsler always goes to
Mhm.
Mizzou and talks to all the guys because, he had a long career. Was there anybody like that for Rutgers?
Yeah, Todd Frazier came around a couple times, and he was at most of the alumni games. So being able to talk to him, and um, obviously everyone knows Todd Frazier, him winning the home run derby in Cincinnati, then seeing him on the Yankees making that playoff run. So to be able to have him come back, and he's a really cool guy, really personable guy. So he's um he's probably our biggest alum. So for him to come back and just share his knowledge of the game, and just especially know that he went to Rutgers too, is it's pretty cool.
What was his best piece of advice that he gave you?
His best, honestly, he told me to just cut out all the outside noise and just go to work on yourself. He was like, and I think that helped me a lot because especially in college baseball, everyone gets wrapped up in these D1 baseball rankings and the team rankings, the draft rankings, whatever. When all of that really means nothing, you just got to block that out and just go to work, try to be the best version of yourself.
You mentioned with that, like, how do you go about trying to stay grounded though? Because obviously you're, in college. You know what I mean? Like, you're playing collegiate ball. You have school you got to focus on. You're also human. You want to go out and have, enjoy yourself out with friends, stuff along those lines. Now that you're a professional ball player, how do you just go about like trying to keep yourself grounded and trying to keep yourself within like that moment that you're in at the that you're currently at?
Um, I think honestly, going back to the thing I said about the radius of players, I think that's what keeps me focused because minor league ball and trying to get to the show, you're not playing against guys in a 4-year college window. You're playing against, like you said, Andrew, earlier, like older guys, 40-year-old guys, and then you got 16-year-old prospects from the Dominican Republic who are ready to come take your job. So I think knowing that gives me that extra added motivation to continue to work hard and continue to put the work in overtime just to keep getting better.
Since you became a pro ball player, what would you say has been like the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome? Could be on the field, could be off the field. What does that look like?
Honestly, I think the biggest challenge in pro ball, which I kind of knew was going to happen going in, is just kind of being by yourself. I think the coaching in college is a lot different when it's all about the team, winning for the team. And fortunate enough for me, being in the athletic system, I've met great coaches and I've met great teammates. And I haven't met one player who I could tell you that's selfish or had an ego or wish I was doing bad in the lineup or anything. So a credit to everyone in this organization, but I think it's definitely more individualized, and because there's only so many spots on a big league roster and everyone wants to get there. So I think that's probably the biggest adjustment I had to make.
You spent a summer in playing in the Cape Cod League out in Bourne, and you also played in Newport another summer as well, which is beautiful, by the way. But so your time in Bourne playing in the Cape League, how do you think that prepped you for getting to where you are now?
Honestly, I think playing in the Cape League and playing for Bourne, I think that helped me more than anything for my junior year of college. And I think, like I said, it gave me that extra added like confidence, being able to play against, we don't, for Rutgers, we don't get to play against all the SEC schools, but you get to the Cape, you're facing uh, LSU pitcher, you're facing an Arkansas pitcher, you're facing a Vanderbilt pitcher, but then you're also playing with those guys. So being right there with them on the same team, me being a Big Ten guy and Rutgers not being known for being the best baseball school, it gave me that extra confidence. Like, I can hang with anyone, and I'm just trying to take that to pro ball too.
I watched a video before you hopped in of you taking some swings at Fenway and taking some grounders while you're wearing your Bourne stuff. How cool was it to get to do that at Fenway?
That was a sick experience, and that was actually the first time I ever been on a big league field, and to be able to play, or to be able to take BP, and obviously my BP rounds are usually line drives up the middle, but I'll be honest, I was trying to hit the ball at the park. I was trying to get the ball over the green monster any way possible. So that was just a cool experience. Just the history in that stadium and to just be on the same field as like David Ortiz was and stuff like that. It was a pretty cool experience.
So you were just talking about your BP usually hitting some line drives. And for somebody that has never watched you play or that doesn't know you too well, how would you describe yourself as a player to that person?
I think I'm a table setter. I think I'm a top of the lineup guy, and the thing I want to do most is score runs. I want to get on, hit singles, steal bags, so the big guys behind me can get their RBIs. I want to have 100+ runs in a season, however many steals, and just play some good defense. I think every team needs a guy like that. You're starting to see it a little bit more. I know the home run has kind of taken over baseball, but you got guys like Steven Kwan, Luis Arraez, just those contact guys. It's like guys aren't getting RBIs if people in front of you aren't getting on base. So that's just my game.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a thing here in the recent, I guess, few years of, like you said, the table setters kind of making a return a little bit. I feel like you said, it's been a lot of home run guys. It's like you want 1 through 9 hitting home runs like all the fans do, but it's like we also love the Billy Hamiltons of the world
Oh
that
yeah,
can get on first base and they're already in scoring position and they don't
right,
even have to steal the base, but he's probably going to steal either second and third.
right.
So I saw your numbers at Rutgers your this past season, incredible. I mean, you don't strike out a whole lot. You only had 18 strikeouts. You had 23 walks and 18 strikeouts on the year. Um, is that something once you get to pro ball all for a full season next year? What kind of things are you looking to do? Are you looking to be like, you stole 24 bags last year as well at Rutgers. Like, are you wanting to be like active on the base pass? Or you just wanting to, get on first? Like how I guess, what are you looking to do next year?
Um, I'm trying to hit a lot of singles and I'm trying to hit a lot of doubles. And like you said, I want to steal a lot of bags. I think the minor league season's 120 games or something. And I love being on base. I mean, you can't steal bags if you can't get on base. So that's step one. But I love to run. And I think it's just easier. I think it's easier to hit with a man on second, nobody out, than man on first. So just kind of having that team mentality. Like, of course, I want to steal the bag for myself, but you steal the bag, and now we got an opportunity to score for the team. So yeah.
All right, Chris, I got a lightning round coming unless you got any finishing thoughts here.
No, I mean, as you were like, as you guys were talking about, like the speed game, I just kept thinking about like when we were in Worcester, we got to be around David Hamilton,
Mm,
and he's lightning fast. Like I every time that we bring him up, I always bring up this point. I've never in my life seen anybody be on first base. Someone hit a ground ball in the infield, and the dude ended up on third base. You know
right,
what I mean? Like I've never seen that, and I just speed is such an underrated value in the game. And if you look at bring it to like the Red Sox for like a quick second, their entire lineup kind of reshaped itself once they utilized Jaron Durant from the top of the lineup.
right.
You're talking about you want to get singles. A guy like Durant can turn a double off of a base hit up the middle. So it's such an underappreciated, I think, aspect of the game, and it's cool to kind of see guys who know what their skill set is and wants to attack that. And so that's yeah, kind of just reminded me of David Hamilton for a quick second as you guys are talking about that.
Absolutely.
It's not a bad guy to kind of remind you of, so that's also good. All right, so I'm going into a lightning round here. It's a little random stuff, off the field things. So you don't got to think too much about it.
Okay.
So let's start this one off on an easy note here. What's your go-to pregame snack?
Go to pregame snack. So being from Jersey, I'm getting a sausage, cheese, and hash brown on a plain bagel, salt, pepper, ketchup. I don't like to eat too much, but before a game, I'm getting a breakfast sandwich from some bagel spot.
Okay, do you have a favorite in mind?
Favorite
Like spot to get that to
bagel
get your
spot.
go-to?
There's one right near my house. It's called Bagel Market and Deli. Just a nice, cool, family-owned spot, but they got really good bagels.
Okay. Now, if you had let's say it's 2025, and you had to pick a walkout song for when you're walking up to the plate, what's that song going to be?
Probably Ashton Martin. I think Drake, Rick Ross, and I forgot the lady that sings in it, but I used the lady's part, and it's just like a nice vibey, cool song. I was experimented, like, do I want to be hype in the box? Do I want to be just cool, calm, collected? So I'm going that route.
Okay, so you chose the cool, calm, collected to kind of
Definitely,
like, you know what,
definitely.
this is my happy
Yep,
place. I'm in here.
right. That's right.
Okay. I don't hate that at all. Sometimes you hear like the heavy rock and you're just like, okay, this guy's like trying to get mentally there, but you're just kind of
Hmm.
like, all right, I'm getting in here. All right.
All right.
Um, what is I like to ask this question here too. I know you said you're not a big food guy. Can you give me a Mount Rushmore? So your top 4 of restaurant chains.
Top 4 restaurant chains.
They can be stand up, like sit down or drive through. I mean,
Okay.
unless that's too hard, and I can just
Okay.
narrow them
No,
down.
I'm gonna go Longhorn Steakhouse, number one. I think that's good quality food. It's not too expensive. Number two, we're gonna go Cookout.
Oh,
I
solid, yeah.
love some Cookout. I'm a big save money type of guy, so probably third Chili's. They got that 3 for 10.99 meal. You can't beat it. Unlimited drinks, you just can't beat it.
Triple dipper too,
And
yeah.
Triple Dipper, you can't beat it.
Oh
And
yeah,
four, let's go. I'm a big fan of Red Lobster. I like Red Lobster.
those biscuits, man.
Those biscuits, I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
Chris, I saw that face you just made. You
I haven't been a Red Lobster in shit. I can't tell you how long. I think actually the last time I went was probably when I was like down in Atlanta for work.
all right? I mean, you're a New England guy too, so it's like I think Red Lobster sometimes is like looked down upon, but
Mhm.
growing up in St. Louis, man, like that's the best we had, and it was good.
People want to look down at all they want, but the endless shrimp that they used to do for the longest time, like you can look down all you want. I'll just keep firing that shrimp.
All right. Well, that led me to the next one here. You did mention that you like to save some money sometimes and all that, but something that I find intriguing is a lot of guys have like once they sign their first contract and get into pro ball, they had one thing that they were just like, as soon as I sign my contract, I want to buy this. Did you have a purchase like that? That you're like, this is my first purchase that I want.
Honestly, no. I think the biggest purchase I made after I got drafted and I came home, I bought my mom a couch, a new couch set. So that's for me personally. I'm even kill. I don't need much, and I got a nice Mazda that runs just fine. I'm not into fancy cars or anything like that, which I guess is a good trait to have. But I bought
Oh
my mom a
yeah.
couch, so yeah.
Oh, I've heard it all over the board. Like I think we had somebody else on that literally I think was just bought AirPods. I think that was their like big purchase. And it's like, yeah, I just really wanted the AirPod Pros. And I'm like, that's still a great purchase. Like
No, it
it's,
is. It is
nothing's a bad purchase. And obviously new couch for your mom, that's honestly one of the better purchases you probably could have made because that'll get used quite a bit.
for sure.
Okay. You traveled a little bit this past year. Where which stadium in this past year? So you can go college and you can go professional ball. I know it was a small sample size, but
Mhm.
where did you like playing the best?
Where did I like playing the best? So I would say Vegas, but I feel like I'm not even going to use that because I think Vegas, that ballpark's like in its own realm.
It's like a major league park,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like I'm trying to think. I really like the Stockton field, even though the sun glares at short for the first 3 innings and you literally can't see the ball off the bat. But I just really like playing in the stadium.
Okay.
Something about that stadium.
Um, that also reminds me of a question I wanted to ask you earlier, but I think now's like a good time for a guy that just entered the athletic system. And did you kind of were you like aware of like all the with them leaving Oakland and everything? Like, did you like have like any prior knowledge on it, or like I guess before you joined the org, like what are your thoughts on like them like going towards Vegas?
Um, I think it's unfortunate just because I think there's a lot of fans in Oakland that wish the Athletics stayed there, and rightly so. But then thinking about how things are trending. I mean, you got who's in Vegas now? You got the Aces for the WNBA. You got the Raiders. Just I think a lot of teams are trending to Vegas, just it being the new hot spot. So I think for athletics in a couple years, whenever they get out of Sacramento, I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, that's it's always interesting to me, and you're the first guy we've had on from the system, and obviously you're brand new to the system, so I know that you never had any like prior ties with Oakland or anything like that. So I just was curious. But all right, next question here. It's gonna be an easier question than that. Well, first off, would you consider yourself more of like a sauce guy, or are you more like do you like drinks more? Like, which one are you more passionate about? Like different types of sauces for food or like drinks?
Probably drinks.
Okay.
I'm a big juice guy. I'm trying to cut down, drink some more water. But I love me a lemonade, love me a any type of flavored juice. I'm all for it.
Okay. Well, then this question's about to probably get hard for you. So I'm only going to give you 3 fingers here, right? And you can fill those 3 fingers with a different liquid, but those are the only 3 that you can have for the rest of your life. Which ones are you choosing?
Let's go. Wow, that's tough. Let's go apple juice.
Oh,
Little
solid.
for
Yeah.
breakfast. For breakfast. Let's go lemonade for any dinner, and then let's go orange Gatorade. Just because I'm not
Orange.
drinking orange Gatorade. A nice cold orange Gatorade.
Okay. Might be the first orange Gatorade I think we've ever gotten.
Yeah,
I probably am. I know it's usually blue and red.
Or like lemon lime. Like it's
I like
never
the
orange,
light
man.
blue. I like the light blue.
Light blue's good. I think light blue's
Okay.
way better than dark blue. So I'm with you on that.
Okay. I got a couple more left, Chris. I don't know if you got anything empty in the bench here.
Well, one, I'm more a body armor guy than I am Gatorade.
Body armor.
Solid.
Peach mango body armor, if they're listening. I ask every player this question, so I'm asking you the same thing. What's your most embarrassing song in the playlist right now that you want to share?
Embarrassing song.
Everyone's got one.
I like that Taylor Swift song from the Hannah Montana movie. I think it's called like Crazy or something. That's a really good song, but it just sucks because when you add it to the playlist, it's not Taylor Swift picture, it's Hannah Montana on there. So if you ever see my phone, they're like, "You listen to Hannah Montana?" I'm like, "Nah, it's Taylor Swift."
All right, fair. That's Taylor Swift. I feel like Taylor Swift's not really embarrassing anymore, but I understand now the background behind that. That makes sense.
Especially like it's just like randomly playing, get the playlist going, and then someone looks down on your phone and that
They
picture.
let-
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm gonna end it on a few baseball ones here. I apologize in advance, but who is a pitcher and they can be active or retired in Major League Baseball that you wish you could face just for one at bat?
Randy Johnson. Only because I personally, I think that I like hitting off lefties, and Randy Johnson threw very hard, and just the way he threw and funky, like I would just love to like get in the box and be like, "Can I hit this?" or like see a fastball go by me and be like, "Never mind." So I just love that opportunity.
Have you ever faced a pitcher that tall? Or close? I mean, even if it's not that tall, but
I faced like some 6'7", maybe 6'6", but Randy was like, he was like a 7-footer on the mound. I couldn't even imagine that.
what do you think it would look like coming at you? Because that's something obviously that the average bear never actually ever gets to face. Not that a lot of people get to face a guy that's 6'11" on the mound, and he's even taller with the mound. So, what is that like though, facing a guy that's like 6'7", 6'8", and he's just coming at you from like it's almost like he's coming down at you?
The biggest thing for me, like if a guy has a big wingspan and he has long arms, like it feels like he's reaching out and the ball just explodes out of his hand. So that's why I'm saying, like if I face Randy, like his arm would be halfway to home plate before he releases the ball and it just jumps into the catcher's mitt.
Okay, now I'm gonna take it to the other side here. We're going to you're batting. Say you're batting second in a lineup. you can name one active or retired position player that you are going to bat after in a lineup. Who would you want to see in the box in front of you?
Ooh, I'm not gonna say Griffey just because that's my favorite player. Honestly, I'd probably want to hit behind. Hit behind.
Yeah.
I want to hit behind Ichiro because he got on base all the time. So he was either hitting a single, stealing a bag, or he was hitting a double. So just knowing he'd probably be on base and I'd get to hit with runners on, I'd love that.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have an easy 100+ RBI year hitting behind Ichiro. He's going to be a Hall of Famer next year. So, all right, Josh, I got one last question here. You've given us a ton of your time here. I like to end it on this one. I'm a big guy on speaking things into existence, so I like to keep saying something until I can accomplish it. And I know other people out there are like that. Some are big goals guys, but for you, let's say we were at December 4th of 2025. What are those like? You can give me like one or two things that you would like to speak into existence for you to accomplish by this time next year.
First, I just want to stay healthy throughout the whole season. Playing 120 games, I think a lot of guys, and I haven't even experienced it, a lot of guys really don't know what that entails. So first, hopefully I'll be healthy December 5th next year. And I wouldn't. I necessarily don't like to give myself goals just because if I don't reach them, I feel like I failed in that aspect. So, just for me, just never lose the love for the game. Just because I know there's going to be ebbs and flows, ups and downs, some tough stretches in the next season. But just enjoy it. Just go to the field every day and like, wow, I get to play baseball today. Never, oh, I have to play baseball. So I think just keeping that mindset and wherever it takes me, it takes me.
Well, I feel like you couldn't have said it better yourself, but I want to thank you for hopping on here, giving us a ton of time. Obviously, we wish you nothing but the best in your first professional spring training coming up here, and then we also wish you the best throughout the year. But Josh, we appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.